Hello everyone and welcome to St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon, Delhi NCR. St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management is the best college of engineering and technology and management in the entire northern India and the fastest upcoming and growing college of the country. The infrastructure is so good that the moment you see the college you fall in love. The environment is so peaceful and serene. It is in such lush green environment and the surroundings are so beautiful away from the hustle and bustle of the city. It has the best faculty in the industry. It provides the bestest education compared to all. This is one place wherein you will like everything, like the host from hostel to infrastructure to the faculties to the educational qualities, and they provide 100% placements and job assistance to the students. So the overall development of students and faculty go hand in hand and they cater to both. It has a variety of courses that you can choose from, like BTech, BBA, BCA, and you know there's more courses coming up like architecture, MBA, and law. This is the best career choice that you will be making for yourself if you choose this. The subject we shall be discussing in this video over here is Mathematical Foundations of Computer Science. The code is BCA 108 and this is a PCA second semester subject in accordance to the syllabus issued by the MDU University Rohtak. We will be discussing the topic recursion or recursively defined function. I, Shalini from the BCA department, shall take you forward in the video. Recursion. Recursion or recursively defined function. The process in which a function calls itself directly or indirectly is called recursion. That is, the function is calling itself, and the corresponding function is called as recursive function. Using recursive algorithms, certain problem can be solved quite easily, like the DFS or the depth first search, the Tower of Hanoi, pre-order, post-order traversal, etc. In the recursive program, the solution to the base case is provided and the solution to the bigger problem is expressed in terms of smaller problems. See, why we say this is that whenever you're going to define a function which is calling itself again and again and again, so if it does not have any base or I would say a terminating condition, what it will happen, it will go into an infinite loop and your system will hang or you're going to crash and the program will just not run, right? And you will not get the solution. So you have to do the both, that is the solution has to be divided, the function has to call itself in such a way that you divide the problem and you divide the problem such that the problem is getting smaller and smaller and it is supposed to reach the base condition will be the one wherein it will terminate. So what you do, you put this you just divide the problem smaller. It can be half, like divide by 2, divide by 3, anything of that sort. If you start with n, it can be something is subtracted, but there will be a terminating condition because at the end of the day you need something to come out of the loop, because else it will form an infinite loop, right? So you understand this is very important. So you have to look at both the things. You have to have a correct base case to end the your algorithm or program, and you need to have a proper way in which you can really call it, right? Okay, see here, if you look at this function, so this is int fact int n is the argument. If n is less than equal to 1, that is the base case. So your n is less than equal to 1, right? So 1 is the terminating condition, then you have to return 1. So this is the base condition. Else what you do, you call n with factorial n minus 1. So you call the function again and with one term, that is minus, and divided by the n. So in this case L is, so this, see, n is getting divided. See, if you start with 3, so 3 cross 2 minus 1 is 3 minus 1 is 2. So you will call it 3 cross 2 factorial, and again you will go to 2 factorial. You will call it by 3 into and then 2 into 1. So for 1 you have 1. So this is 3 to the 6. You got to the base and you finally get to the answer, to the solution, right? Okay. Now how a particular problem is solved using recursion. The idea is to represent a problem in terms of one or more smaller problems and add one or more base condition that stop the recursion. So what you do, you represent the problem in terms of one or more smaller problems. So you divide your problems into smaller problems and then you add one. Can be one condition terminating, or it can be two condition terminating, or it can be multiple, like n numbers. So you have to see that what your terminating condition, right? That you see. Okay, see, I have a Fibonacci example. So I called it with, say, with an example 5. So I call it with 5, then it is called with 4, 4 and 3. Then again you call it with 3 and 2, and then again 3 is called with 2 and 1. The 2 is called with 1, 0. This is how it proceeds, and all this will return to 5. So now you see how the branch is made. See, okay, this was a function that was okay, you see, but this is how you can understand it into a design kind of a form, or wherein you can really understand the problem. So this fib 5 will actually, how it will work. See, this will further getting divided to 4, 2 into 3, and then 3 into 2 into 1. This is how it is proceeding. See, 5 was reduced to 4 and 3. Then this 4 again becomes a problem in itself. So this was reduced to 3 and 2. Then this 2 was a problem, so 1 and 0. So 0 it terminated. And this 3 was a problem, so 2 and 1. Right, so this 2 and 1 had 1 and 0. So your here, you have two base condition, and what are they? Fib 1 and fib 0. So your terminating conditions are 2. That is why from fib 1 it doesn't proceed forward. So this is how. So when this for fib 5, all this will be solved and these will be all added upon to give the answer, right? So these smaller problems, they add together themselves, or the add means whatever function that they are performing, multiply, divide, whatever they are doing. So all the solution, they all combine to form the solution to the main problem, and this is how it is solved, right? So why stack overflow error occurs in recursion? If the base case is not reached or not defined, then the stack overflow problem may arise. And how it is done? See, if you do not, if that is why we are talking about in the first video, that if you don't define the base case, na, you will not end up losing, like going into the loop. And this is exactly what stack for problem is. See, you have defined a factorial n, then you wrote that if it equal to 1, this is like 1, else you call it with n minus 1. So what you do is you call it with 10, and this base condition is done with 100. So you will never reach the base condition, which is wrong now. So what will happen, that all the memory will be exhausted of these functions. The stack will get the memory will all get vanished, and it will cause a stack overflow problem. So this is how it works like. Okay. See, then you have to know that what is a direct and indirect recursion. Direct recursion is the function is calling itself, that is direct. Indirect is function is calling another function, A is calling B, which while B is again calling A, right? So this is an indirect function, and this is what is written here. That a function fun is called direct recursive if it calls the same function fun. A function fun is called indirect recursive if it calls another function, say fun new, and fun new calls fun indirectly or directly, right? So this is how it is done. Okay, so what are the important questions? What is recursion? Recursion is an example, or it can also recursively defined function. So all mean the same thing. You just understand the topic, and that is the main thing. If you understood it, then it will become very easier for you to actually proceed forward in the into doing any kind of a question that you want to. So I hope the video was clear. Please do write. Thank you so much.